All right, guys, you're here with Josh Thomson. We're here doing another Punk's Opinion. No Sammy today. Sammy is his flight got canceled out of Vegas. He was riding on the coattails of his 102.5 KDON radio station and got a press credential for, of course, the UFC 235. Went out there, but he got stuck out there, or so he says. Or so he says. But he got stuck out there. Some flights got canceled last night, and now his earliest flight, he was able to get out today at 3 o'clock. I will not wait for Sammy because Sammy shows no respect. Should have been home, ready to film. Anyways, look, it happens, man. I get stuck all the time when I'm flying all around for Bellator stuff. So, and even back in the past when I was doing stuff for the UFC. So, shit happens, man. It is what it is. But I'm gonna drop this Punk's Opinion. Oh, there he is, Josh Thomson again.
Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna what's it called? I'm gonna drop this Punk's Opinion on you guys. We're gonna talk, of course, we're gonna talk UFC 235 and the fights and how they went down, and we'll go from there, man. We're gonna pull up. I'm gonna pick and choose a couple of the fights here. We were just talking about the Johnny Walker fight, so we're gonna go ahead and talk on that real quick. We were talking about that off before we started filming, so. Look, man, kid's talented. He's talented. He's good. Very explosive. He's going to have to work on his post-fight interviews a little bit. But I think, obviously, the sky's the limit for the kid. I mean, 37 seconds is nothing to scoff at. I mean, it's hard when you don't have a big pool of what to see or how good he is. But, man, you can tell that he's athletic. You can tell that he's explosive. I mean, you know that he's good. I mean, he's very talented. I mean, funny as all hell. Kind of a bonehead, as you can tell after his win. He hurt his shoulder a little bit, but it happens. I mean, I always get nervous like Anthony McKee. Or not Anthony McKee, but AJ McKee does those backflips off the cage, and I hate those. And then who else did it? Eddie Alvarez and Gaethje, like they all do. I'm like, man, dude, you're tired. You could roll your ankle, break your leg. Just it drives me crazy. I'm like, and then the fact that it's always like the guys that are making like a good run. They're like the guys that are like 13-0 or they're already like number 2 or number 3 on the ladder, like getting ready for a title shot. And I'm like, no, I'm like, no. If you break your leg, you got to put a plate in it, dude. You're out forever. I mean, it's crazy. So it could change the way you fight. For me, I have a plate in my left leg, and it's ever since I had that plate put in, I haven't been able to really kick as well to the body with that leg because it hurts me. Just things like that. And if you kick the elbow at all, there's a good chance you could re-break it above the plate, so the bone is not as strong. So the plate like acts as if like it's a piece, which it is a piece of metal, and then your bone is like a piece of wood. And anytime you kick on it, the bone just actually breaks over the top of the plate. And that happened to me a couple times getting ready for the second Gilbert Melendez fight, and I re-broke my leg 3 times above the plate. So even though the plate was there, the bone above it's not as strong as the plate, obviously, because of the titanium plate, for me anyways. And I just kept re-breaking, and I ended up having a problem, with that. And so after that, I just pretty much quit kicking with my lead leg, which changed a lot of my game. So I would like to see these guys avoid these type of celebrations where they do things like this. I know it's, you're caught up in the moment and adrenaline, but man, this kid's got a bright future, and you'd love to see him stay on track. I just enjoy watching him fight. It's like, just does good, like he just does great things, man. Love seeing him fight. He's definitely on a win streak. I mean, he's 17-3. I mean, young kid too. What is he, like 26, 27 years old? But 6'6". That's nasty. That's super tall, long, lanky, 205. I mean, who knows? I thought Rockhold was big. Rockhold's 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", 6'3", but fights at 185. I was like, man, you're big, but this kid 6'6". That's crazy. That's unheard of. Man, making Joe look like those little trolls. It reminds me of like you have him, and then you've got like Joe's bobblehead from that company, or not that company. What's that? Plastics or whatever. They make those little they look like little bobbleheads, but they're not. But they're like little like them. Yeah, they make them. They're like this, kind of like these little ones here, but they're not bobbleheads. They're like they did like the John Wick one, the dog, and they did Joe Rogan. They did Joe Rogan's dog. They did the Chuck. I think they did the Chuck Liddell one. They did Roy McDonald. That's the one I think that made them popular with the bloody when he was bleeding from the Lawler fight. Yep. But yeah, yeah. But I mean, like the future's bright for this young guy, 26 years old. Producer Dave here's showing me his stats. I mean, 17-3, 6'6", 205. 26 years old from Brazil. I mean, man, Johnny Walker though, a name like Johnny Walker from Brazil. That's weird. It's kind of strange. It kind of threw me off when I heard him talk. I was like, oh wow.
One of my friends from that I grew up with is called Johnny Walker as well, from Scotland. Scottish guy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny though because he's like half Pakistani, but he's got Scottish accent, white name, just looks a bit brown.
It's you know what's funny, man, is it's funny is that, you know, the like scientists have said that like probably within, you know, 150 to 200 years, pretty much everyone's going to look pretty much alike. I mean, because you're going to have so many just interracial people, just everyone just talking, dating, like having kids. And, you know, eventually, you know, I mean, I have like a couple of my best friends are like, one of them is black and the mom is German and Irish and Vietnamese. She's mixed. But their daughter, she looks like half black, half white, but she has red hair and freckles. She reminds me a lot of Jason. If you look up Michael Strahan's daughters, she reminds me like she has like the really curly like remember that show called, I think there was a girl named Felicity on like this show back in the day. It was like a sitcom. But yeah, see, exactly like she looks exactly like that. Just like beautiful, like kind of like darker, a little bit like darker skin, but like really curly hair, but red hair and freckles. It's like, but they're saying like scientists have said like basically a lot of our population will start to look like this because, you know, everyone's just gonna everybody will start being with everyone. I think it's great. I think it's gonna be. Did
you listen to the Alex Jones, Joe Rogan?
I listened to some of it. I can only, you know, look, I don't have a problem with Alex Jones. I can only handle so much of Alex Jones yelling into the microphone. No, you know, I had to do, and I even like the first 20 minutes, I stopped and I waited like a day, and then I went back and I listened to like another 20 minutes. I'm still on it, to be honest. I've got probably like another hour left, but it's taken me some time. I can only do so much. Like he's so all over the board, man. It's so crazy. And then as soon as Eddie Bravo walked in, I was like, oh fuck, here we go. I'm like, man. But it's so strange. I was just reading this thing about how like, you know, it's like $100,000 fine if you kill a, what is it called? Because you know, one of the arguments they had first started, Eddie was kind of trying to get underneath his skin about the whole like killing babies, you know, at birth or something. And you know, and they voted on that whole deal. I don't know enough about that to talk about it, but it is kind of weird. Like if you kill like a bald eagle, right? Like while the bald eagle is, you know, if you kill a baby bald eagle, you know, or while it's still like in its egg or whatever. And the same thing I want to say with like a lion or something like that. There's a couple other like endangered species, but if you kill them before they hatch, then it's like, it's what? No, but you understand what I'm saying? Like the eagle is what I'm talking. Like if you're killing like animals before they hatch, it's like $250,000 fines and like prison time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then here you are saying like, here they were talking about is they're like voting to like go ahead and like kill babies after they're born. It really baffles me, man. I'm so.
But that was a thing, and that was a thing. Like I was watching something recently, just some news, and they were saying like they were showing you how they said that like they're not putting a time frame on basically when you can abort a child, and it's like
so, that to me is just baffles me, man. Like where have we gotten to that point where it's like people think that that's okay? I don't understand. Like look, I'm not saying I'm pro-abortion or anyways. I'm just saying that like if you knew you were pregnant, you should have had it way earlier. Like I don't know, man. Look. Anyways, let's talk about the fights. I mean, seriously, it makes me depressed to think that people are willing to go ahead and have an abortion like after like not even having an abortion. Like you're basically having the baby and then letting the baby be killed. It just Drives me
But
crazy.
yeah, we're trying to ban guns because school shootings.
Oh man, it's. I mean, I can't. They're saying all the way up until the moment like that, like the day before the baby's born, should be able to do it. I'm like,
But
what is going
there was
on?
even someone. There was even like a video where a woman was being pressed on the baby actually being born and then being aborted, and she was like, "Well, that's not out of the question." Like she couldn't give like a definitive answer. It was really.
That's so strange, man.
Find it, but it was,
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's like a whole separate show. We could probably try and talk on about something. You know, I mean, maybe we'll have Ed on because he works in the pharmaceutical, industry and stuff like that. We could talk with him about it. He works with a lot of hands-on with doctors and stuff. Man, just I fucking talking about just killing the mojo of this whole show. Fuck. Anyways, look, Johnny Walker. Back to Johnny Walker. Let's pull it. You know what fight I didn't get to see? I didn't get to see this. It was the Mickey Gall and Diego Sanchez fight. I only saw like the highlight of it. But man, I mean, dude, to me I thought shit, pretty crazy. Like Diego is still Diego. If you don't have the conditioning and the endurance and the will to push and go crazy like beyond where he goes crazy, like he's the guy that will push the pace to the point of you just trying to break you. And I mean, maybe he's possibly done being at the top of the echelon and the top. I mean, like I think honestly, and I think he hit the nail on the head. 155-pound weight class is too small for him. He depletes himself too much. The 170-pound weight class is too big for him. He's kind of that guy that's stuck in the middle. 165, I think, would be perfect for him. And I think honestly it would extend his career. I mean, I don't know if he should still I don't know. He got a good win. He does good stuff. He loves to fight, and you can tell that he loves to fight. He still has a chin. I mean, just the thing that you run into, I think, with a lot of these guys as they get older, their chin goes. I mean, like I can give you an example. Like shit, man, I can't take a shot like I used to take a shot. But the guy loves to fight. There's nothing you can do about it. He's just a scrappy guy, man. Like nothing you can do to stop what he does. And he's a fighter. He loves to fight. And just look at the power. Like he's never seemed like a really strong, physically strong guy. But he
calls good technique though.
He's got good technique. He's got great technique. I mean, he needed that win. Like he needed. I know he got a win before this fight, but he needed that win. Like he's that guy. I think he just got stuck. He's stuck in that in between weight class where, you fight guys like Matt Brown who are big for 170, and you fight. I mean, I don't know how big Mickey Gall is, but he looked a lot bigger than Diego. I mean, like you look at those fights, and it's just he's a small guy. I think the 175-pound weight class is a good weight class for him. So, who knows? Oh, let me see that fight. I want to see that fight. I didn't see that one either. I didn't get a chance to really watch the prelims, just to be honest with you guys, so I'm going to actually break down a lot of the main card. But I'm just giving a couple little highlights through this thing here. Yeah.
Cody Stamann and Alejandro Perez.
Yeah. I trained with Alejandro. I didn't get an opportunity to see the whole fight because I was out at an event. But, ooh, wow. That was nice, Alejandro. I heard it was a good fight. Oh, wow. The thing with Alejandro, right, is that he's too scrappy for his own good. Like, he will stand in the pocket and throw and bang. And, I love watching him fight. He pushes the pace. He's always in great shape. Oh, nice takedown. He's been working a lot on his wrestling. Wrestling's getting a lot better. He's had a great opportunity to work with some of these guys.
You can already see it right now.
Well, hey, good fight though. Like what I can see from the highlights, it looked like they both brought it. It was a good fight. Look, let's talk about more of the. I want to watch that Zabit and Jeremy Stevens. Good fight. Great. I didn't realize how tall Zabit was. I mean, like, sure, you say like, oh wow, it's he's 6'1", but dude, he's fucking tall as fuck. He seemed like so much taller than Jeremy Stevens. I was like, holy cow. So, but I liked a lot of the stuff that Zabit did. I mean, like, he did a lot, like that little like jump off the cage. He's just trying to do whatever. I think he feels so comfortable anywhere the fight goes, and he's only going to get more confident as he starts beating more top guys. The fact that he beat Jeremy, did some good work. He's good, got good hips, good on top. I mean, my honest opinion is the reality of it all is like to have him fight somebody like a Yair Rodriguez, someone who moves as well as him, or somebody who is as explosive as him. I just don't think Yair can stop his takedowns if Zabit decides to wrestle with him. There's that fight. Or what's his name? Not Marty Cohn. I can't pronounce his name.
What division? 45?
Yeah, same division. What's his name? He just fought Aldo. I want to say he just lost to Aldo.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is right there. Moicano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So him and Moicano would be a good fight. I'd like to see that. I would also like to see him fight Yair, just because. I mean, I'm not really a fan of Yair Rodriguez. Some people are. I mean, and the other thing though too is you could possibly have him fight Korean Zombie. I know that Jeremy Stevens was a big jump up in competition for him, but the fight, the Korean Zombie fight and him would be a fucking great fight. The two of them just slugging it out, getting down in front of each other. I mean, like, Zabit brings a different level, of things that he will do in the cage, but man, I'd love to see that fight. That to me would be a great fight. Yeah, I don't think that Yair can stop. I don't think Yair can stop Zabit's takedowns or anything that he does, and I'd like to see this whole thing happen.
It's crazy that he can do 45 at 6'1".
Huh?
It's crazy that Zabit's 6'1" and he's 45s.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts to think that these guys can make these weights. It's crazy. Like, I don't know how. Like, when you stand next to Jeremy Stevens, like when I stand next to him, I'm like, I have no idea how he fucking wins. I don't understand how he makes that weight. He is so big and like muscular, like his back and his shoulders. I'm like, good God, he's a big guy. So, but for me, I mean, I'll always be a Jeremy Stevens fan. He's just someone who he'll stand in there and he'll take the pocket and he'll just throw down. And it's great to see. I love watching him fight. I will always like tune in to watch him fight. I think that was the main event on the prelims. The next fight, I mean, let's talk Cody Garbrandt. And just if you guys go back, I did a show on, was it Saturday? We filmed Saturday, right? Friday. So I did a show on Friday, and I talked about how the issue, the talent is there for Cody, but it's not that. It's not the talent. It's the I don't even say it's the fight IQ. It's just it is the fight IQ. It's, you got to fight smart. Like, he had him rocked a couple times. He got caught into the same thing he got caught into with TJ Dillashaw. He landed some big shots. When he's out there having fun, okay, and he's not taking things serious like he did with Dominic Cruz, he did it a couple times in this fight where you kind of start to see, like, he made Pedro miss, and when Pedro missed, he kind of like started dancing a little bit. When he's having fun, you can tell that that he's not letting the person's get into his mindset. And he fights smarter. And this fight, he was doing that and doing well, and made a couple little mistakes, got clipped a little bit, but look, he was still in the fight. He's a gamer. There's no doubt about it. But he got rocked a little bit. There was no reason for him to keep trying to put him away. Like, be patient with it. He got clipped there, and he just makes it into a slugfest instead of like, hey, I hit you clean. Now I'm going to sit back and try and pick you apart. But instead, he just keeps throwing. And it's like, dude, you just got clipped with a big shot. Take a step back, get your breath, and man, and I'm watching it happen. And I already know it's coming, and I'm still, it's so upsetting. It's so upsetting because I know that like he just gets carried away and the hands are down and then he starts throwing and it's a little bit of frustration level because it was the same punch twice. If you go back and rewind it a little bit, like it's the same punch twice. He throws the overhand right, they both throw it, and he gets hit a little bit, and then they both reset, and the same punch gets thrown again, he gets hit again. So we got hit with the same punch, the same thing like with TJ Dillashaw, the same punch both times. With TJ, I think he got hit with the same punch 3 times in a row. And like, I know it was a back and forth battle. I know that the fight, could have went either way. I thought it was a great fight. The thing is that you have opportunity, like, to kind of start winning the round, kind of start putting everything in your way, like, putting it on your track and like you showing your dominance, and then you go out there, you rock him. Sometimes take a step back. Okay, push, pick and choose your shots. Don't just start throwing and brawling. That's the thing. And he moves so he's got good head movement. He just does moments where he gets caught into this, I want to just brawl with you. He gets hit a lot. But if he doesn't do that, he's got a great chance of beating all these guys and using his head move. If he goes back to fighting the way he fought Dominic Cruz, like there was not a lot of emotion involved with that fight. He just fought a smart fight. Every time he hurt Dominic, he didn't like chase after him and get overzealous. He just stayed focused and composed on what he was going to do. And he just he was picking and choosing his shots, making sure that he was never in range to get taken down. I mean, he did a lot of great things in this fight, but when you're fighting someone like this, you just cannot get caught up in that slugfest. And just knowing that the fight can end at any moment. If you've been rocked in the fight, that should already tell you that you can be hurt by this guy. So if you hit him and you hit him clean, like just take your time. Like boom, track after him, set up your shit, and start picking him apart. He has all the ability, but 3 losses like this in a row it's got to be it's devastating, I think. And
where does it put him, do you think?
I don't know. Let me pull up the rankings. I honestly couldn't tell you, man. I mean, like it probably puts him behind Assunção and ahead of Dominic Cruz, but not by much. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped past Dominic Cruz, even though he's beat Dom. I mean, the only reason why he hasn't been active, so I could see him dropping soon, but they like Dom, so I don't think they're going to drop Dom. I could see them dropping, Cody past Dom. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, they're going to probably try to match him up against somebody like Jimmy Rivera next, who has got big hands also, heavy hitter, I don't know. I mean, or they're going to have him fight Peter Yan, and that's another guy who can just box and throw down. That's a tough fight for him as well, especially if you decide to get into that scrap. I mean, his career, he's got to be careful. He's got to pick and choose his fights right now and make sure he gets a win, gets back on track. But the thing is, I got to tell you, that fucking division is stacked. Like, you'll very rarely hear me talk about this division, like about lower divisions like I am right now. That division's fucking stacked. Marlon Moraes, Cody Garbrandt, Assunção, Dom Cruz, Sterling, Rivera, Lineker, Yan, Munoz, Pedro Munoz, the one that just beat Garbrandt, who was ranked number 9. Now he's fighting him. He just beat number 2. Dodson, Cody, the one that just fought Alejandro Perez. Dude, that's crazy. These guys are that whole division is pretty stacked. Thomas Almeida, that whole division's stacked. There's a lot of good guys in the 145-pound division, but not as that whole division in the 135-pound weight class is stacked. There's plenty of people for TJ Dillashaw to fight, especially Marlon Moraes and Assunção, and then you got that new kid Peter Yan. He's coming out. Those are some tough fights right there. Some tough fights, And who knows? Is TJ Dillashaw the same guy after that Henry Cejudo fight? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Exciting news. Oh, man. Crazy. And then what was the next fight?
So the girls, but I can't find a highlight video online that you can watch.
Yeah, I tuned in like I left after the Garbrandt fight to go somewhere real quick, and then to the event, and I showed up like halfway through that fight. I mean,
it was pretty much the same second half as it was the first half.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Producer Dave's opinion.
You are a little sexist though. No respect. No respect. No, I mean like I love watching Tisha Torres fight, you know. But yeah. So I'm not gonna really touch on that fight a whole lot. I heard that Zhang came out, she had a good win. I saw like she was able to get top position a couple times, and Tisha couldn't get off the bottom, so I assume that she was able to keep going to the well on that. I like watching Tisha Torres fight. She's just scrappy, good, you know, aggressive. Fights a tough fight normally every time. So I didn't get an opportunity to see that whole fight, so I don't want to touch too much on it. But let's talk about probably the most controversial fight of the night: Robbie Lawler and Ben Askren. It sucks, man. And Askren came out right away and shot that takedown. And when Robbie was able to stop the takedown, I was like, "Oh shit, this may be pretty good." And when Ben tried getting into the back, I was like, "Oh shit!" And what Robbie did very well was when he was able to get on top from that position, he had Ben's arm trapped behind him. So when he had that position, I was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna nasty." Like Ben could not turn to face him because Robbie had his far side arm from behind his back. And then every time Ben went to roll away, he couldn't roll away either because he was getting punched on that side. I was pretty impressed with how well Robbie did in this fight. And from what I understand, Dana's already said they're pretty much looking at an automatic rematch. We're going to see if that fight happens again. But I mean, if we go basically right from the beginning of the fight, the whole fight, I know it wasn't a long fight, but the whole fight was action-packed. For 3 minutes and 21 minutes, there wasn't a moment there where they were really like stopped in action. The thing that I like about Robbie Lawler is he lets it all hang out. But what I also like is, look, he had a reason to get up. He had a reason to get up and yell at Herb Dean. And look, dude, in passing, I walk past Herb Dean and I'm like, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" But in my mind, I always think to myself, dude, you've made a lot of fucking really questionable decisions. To me, I'm telling people, they're like, "Oh, he's the best in the business." And I heard Joe Rogan say that, earlier in an earlier fight about how he's one of the best in the business. Dude, I've had experiences with him. He's probably one of the worst in the business too. And that's the sad thing. Like, I like him as a person. Like, in passing, hey.
He's one
of the worst.
Stopped it right there, though.
He was still moving. He's still moving. He was just stuck in a position where his arm was trapped behind his back, and he couldn't defend as well as he needed to. But he was still moving, trying to escape the position.
But the arm going limp. Do you think that's a bad call?
Well, it didn't go limp. If you actually look at it, it didn't go limp. He lifted it up, and he still moves it, and he moved it somewhere else. That's the thing. Like, the other thing as well is you can talk. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Like, let me know what you're like, if you're still okay. Like, it's just one of those. The other thing is Ben Askren's arm around his ear so he can't hear him. Is Ben like what's the position? I mean, to me, Herb Dean he still moved his hand. So after he lifts his hand, he moves it. Watch, he lifts it right here, and Robbie's hand never hits the ground right there, and then he puts it back down. So he moves it up after Herb drops it. Watch, he moves it back up, see? So if you're going to watch that replay over and over and over again, it was a bad call. But it was a bad call in that scenario. And people want to talk about the fight where he could have stopped the fight when no, he could not have stopped that. He could have, but it would have been even worse. I mean, that was just as bad as this call right here. He made two mistakes. I mean, I don't think he made a mistake in the first one. He let it pass. The other thing as well, as a referee, you have to understand who you are cornering. Or not cornering, but who you are reffing. You have to understand that Ben Askren, he always gets his ass kicked almost every fight. He fucking gets beat up every fucking fight. The price he pays to get the takedown. Okay, that's his game, and he takes huge shots, like big. I commentated some of his fights when he was in the ONE FC when he fought Sapo, and man, he took some fucking big hellacious shots. But guess what? He just kept fighting. There was never a moment in that fight where he was gonna win that, where he was gonna give up in that fight. You have to know who you are reffing, and you have to know how, like, what their style is. Like, can they take shots? Are they a little chinny? You know, like, you have to know those things. Like, you got to be ready to jump in if they are a little chinny. You have to be ready to jump so they don't take unwarranted shots. Like, you just, and the fact that he has not, like, with Herb Dean, he should know Robbie Lawler. Like, look, you lifted his hand. He was already kind of like starting to stop the fight before he even like had let Robbie's hand hit the ground. So if you go ahead and play this again, I mean, he lifts the hand. He's already patting him on the chest. I don't understand what the deal is. Like, he lifts the hand. Watch, the hand doesn't hit the ground. That's what I don't get. Like, why are you hitting Ben Askren to tell him to stop the fight if the hand didn't hit the ground? You lift the hand, didn't even let it hit the ground. So we can go over that left and right, day by day. Robbie obviously jumps up in frustration. I honestly believe they're going to make this fight again. It's going to happen again. But I mean, like, I honestly called this when I did the show on Friday. I said, Ben either taps Robbie or... No, but it's not limp. It's not limp. He's just chilling. I mean, like, no, but here, if his arm went limp and he was out, there's no way he would have popped his head out like that and be like, what the fuck? There's no way. Even if you're like a little bit dazed, like even if you're not out all the way, right? There's no way he would have popped his head up like that. Like if I choke you a little bit and you start to go out and I let go, the first thing you do is you try to get your focus with your eyes. You're like, oh, like you don't just pop your head up and go like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what are you doing? Well, you can't stop this fight. It doesn't happen like that. Like when you're getting close to being choked out, you have like, you know, the spots are there. Your equilibrium is not there. Like you're off balance. If he would have stood up right away, he probably would have been off balance. I mean, he was fine. What I like about Robbie Lawler is this. If you go to the next part, he is obviously really pissed off at fucking Herb Dean. But what I like is that he walks up to Herb. He's like, hey, man, it happens. Gives him a hug. Hey, this is the game. You know, and you can tell Robbie's frustration. You know he's frustrated. He looked fucking phenomenal in the beginning of that fight. I know it's a long fight, but fuck, man, he looked phenomenal. You know, it sucks. It sucks to see Ben Askren come into the UFC with like a tainted first fight. You know, I don't see what else they're gonna do. They're gonna have to probably run it back, given that it was a bad stoppage.
So Dana says that fight they're gonna run it back.
Yep.
Ben says he wants the winner of Till and Masvidal, and then Usman says that Askren is the next title fight.
Yeah, no, Usman doesn't say that. His manager Ali says that, I believe.
Yeah. So, Ali says Usman will fight Ben Askren next. Okay. But so there's three people calling different fights.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, who makes the decision? Yeah. That's what you have to remember. Like, it's so funny. I love when the fighters are like, and the managers try to chime in like, oh yeah, my guy's gonna fight this guy. No, he's not. He's gonna fight who the fuck I tell him to. Per Dana White. Dana White's like, you will fight who the fuck I want you to fight when I fucking want you to fight them. Okay. That's the deal. Like, don't listen to what you guys read on social media. Don't listen to that shit. These guys will fight who the fuck they want to fight. You know, the Dana White will make that happen. The one thing that Dana will do is he'll do what he wants. You can guarantee that. I think my honest opinion is like really what comes next. Let me see what's here. So you have Darren Till who's fighting Masvidal. That's a great fight. To me, that's going to be probably could be fight of the year candidate right there. I love watching Masvidal fight. I came from the 55-pound division. Just a scrappy fucking guy. That's going to be a great fight. I mean, I think what's going to happen is Colby Convington is going to end up fighting Usman. I think all the drama that happened after the fight with Ali and Usman and in the casino and all the stuff leading up to it, where there's videos of Usman talking shit to Colby, like in the back, I think before they were about to do weigh-ins and shit like that. All that stuff that was going on, that leads up for a perfect fight with Colby Convington. You know, I think Woodley's going to take some time, going to pump his brakes a little bit, figure out what he wants to do. I could see him coming back and probably fighting somebody like Dos Anjos, you know, having that fight. Or, you know, and we'll see. Somewhere in there, I think somewhere in there, I'd like to see. Let me see, what are you pulling up?
Did you see that?
Oh, no.
You know, Woodley walked out to his song.
I'll
beat your ass. That song.
Oh, really?
This is Woodley's song. It's called "I'll Beat Your Ass."
Oh,
and
wow.
Then somebody made this remix.
Someone made the remix. It's called "He Beat My Ass." That's messed up. That's messed up. That's messed up, man. Wood's good, man. He's talented. He's good. He just didn't seem himself. I mean, I don't know. I think Usman's wrestling kind of threw Woodley off a little bit. I didn't like how Woodley kind of went to that guillotine a couple times, and I didn't like that. Like when you're, like, I know you got to go for broke, but not to a position that's going to put you on bottom. I also would have liked to have seen Woodley maybe try to wrestle himself a little bit. If he would have been able to get Usman down and been on top of him, I think he could have done some good work. At least make Usman like put some energy out to get up and go from, like, kind of zap and also make him think about that takedown. It seemed like Usman was the one dictating every time they would wrestle, every time that they were going to throw. I would have liked to. And when I talk, and this is another thing, is I talked on Friday about this. The way to beat T. Wood is exactly how Usman did it, and I said it before. I said the way you beat him is like a Nate Marquardt did in Strikeforce. He pushed the pace on him, he stayed in front of him, and he just kept pushing on him, leaning on him, hanging on him, pressing him to the fence, doing those things. Those are the type of guys that beat T. Wood. Guys that can, like, press him to the fence, guys that can potentially threaten the takedown, guys that don't slow down as the fight goes on. I was impressed how Usman was able to keep going hard for 5 rounds with the wrestling and the takedowns and the grinding. And, man, he did some good work. And he's a big guy for the weight class at 170. He's a big guy. And this to me was a great coming out party for him. I know that everyone has seen him fight. He's done really well. He fights really well. Like, he's been dominant. But to dominate T. Wood the way he did this way was very impressive. But I think you're going to end up seeing him and Colby Convington next. You're going to see Ben Askren fight probably the winner of Masvidal and who was it? Masvidal and Darren Till. He'll probably fight the winner of that. And then I think T. Wood will probably come back down, maybe fight Dos Anjos, or he'll fight, what's that? What's his name? Ponzinibbio or whatever. You know what I mean. That guy's name. I can't pronounce that guy's name.
Ponzinibbio.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Leon Edwards and T. Wood fight either. To me, that'd be a fucking real exciting fight. There's another exciting fight I'd like to see. So you got Leon, or maybe, you know, that's a fight I'd like to see.
Did you hear someone ask T. Wood in the post fight, are you going to go to 185 and try and take that belt? And he said, I'm going to get 170 belt back first and then go up to 85.
That just, it's a little weird.
To go 85?
Yeah, only because he's short and thick for 170. Like, his shoulders, his back, but he's already carrying a little bit too much muscle for that weight class. You know, I mean, like, for his size. I mean, I want to say he's only 5'8". You know, so if you put him at 185 against guys like Rockhold who are 6'3", you know, guys like who's the guy that Whitaker's pretty tall as well. Who's the guy that Gastelum's fighting there now? Oh, Adesanya. He's like 6'3", long, lanky. I mean, like, he's gonna have a hard time getting in on those guys. You know, Usman is a pretty big guy. I've had a chance to watch him train with Henry Hooft and, you know, in some of the back rooms at Bellator and stuff like that. And he's a big guy, long, lanky, super explosive, trains hard. But he was able to manhandle T. Wood. And I think the guys at 185 are going to be physically just too big for him. And I hate to see his career like derailed, you know, with some fights at that weight. He's good at 170, man. You know, Ben Askren, like I think they're missing the boat right now with how exciting their 170-pound division is with Darren Till, Colby Convington, you know, all these guys that are there, T. Wood, Dos Anjos, Leon Edwards. I think they're missing the boat on adding that 65-pound weight class, because then those guys, they could have 2 champions that are fucking exciting as fuck. You have 3. All 3 of those champions, 55, 65, 75, all super exciting. And then talk about the shit talking you'll get from weight class to weight class. Because, like, yeah, fuck that guy. I'll go up and fight him because I don't need to do shit but cut weight. Like, I'm already on track. Like, I'm small for 165. Like, you could see that happening, a lot more of that happening. And that to me is what I think would bring more excitement, even more excitement to the UFC. I mean, fuck, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see, man. We'll see. Colby Covington's got his hands full with Usman. If he fights Usman, he's got his hands full. You know, Usman's good. His stand-up's a little suspect. It's not as good as I thought it would be. Don't get me wrong, it's still pretty damn good. But
did you see that Colby got banned from the venue, but he still somehow got in? I saw an interview where he talked about it, but I don't remember what
they
he
probably
said.
allowed him into the fights. Was it at the MGM?
T-Mobile.
No, T-Mobile. Oh, they probably let him into the fights, but they probably, like, he couldn't be there before or he couldn't hang out afterwards. They probably escorted him in and out. I would imagine just strictly for, like, after the whole Khabib thing, they probably were like, look, we're going to walk you in and walk you out. They'd be stupid not to have him there.
Did you see Usman like almost getting an altercation with him right after as he was exiting the cage?
Yeah, they try to. But here's the thing, though. And look, dude, you guys are all managed by Ali. Ali, you got to do something, man. Your guys are all going to end up getting suspended. Don't antagonize this shit. And Ali's like my boy. I love. He talks a big game, but his guys right now are the best in the business. They're fucking really good. And he's got some other guys too that we haven't even heard of yet, or we've heard of, but they just haven't had their opportunity to fight in the higher ranks. He's got a slew of dudes that are they're doing their business. And you got to tip your hat. He puts his work in. He's all on board. I mean, like, this dude is he's doing a great job with his guys. Like, I give Ali some credit. Dude, he takes care of his guys. He backs them up 100%. He sticks up for them every opportunity he gets at every turn. He does what he can to make sure that they're taken care of. He shows up the day they show in, you know, for they fly into wherever they're fighting at. He's there as well. He's there with them. Like, he'll leave on, like, Wednesday, like, knowing that they have press stuff, and then he'll leave after the press stuff and he'll fly somewhere else, go be with his other guys where he's got to be with them, make sure they're okay, and then he'll fly back, you know, for the other guys' fight. The guys, as a manager, Ali does a good job, you know, and you know, and it's a new era. I think a new era of managers. I was just talking with some of the who was I talking? I was talking to somebody yesterday about this, about how there's like a new era of managers. You got Tiki Goshen. There's a new era of managers, man. These guys they're a little bit younger. Some of them came up in the sport, but they're a little bit younger and they're hungry. These guys are hustling for their guys. You know, the days of, like, the older school guys, like the Monty Cox and, like, some of the other guys that just, like, the guys would come to them because they handled a big crew of guys. Well, those guys never really went out and got business. They never really went out and hustled for it. These young guys, man, are hustling for their shit. You know, I mean, like, you've got young guys. A lot of I think that whole younger generation of guys that came in was like that Malky era who handled Jon Jones, or I mean, maybe still does. But, like, he kind of was that, like, brash, quick talker type thing. And now these younger guys are starting to kind of be like that. It's like kind of falling into that you know, just that they would be like almost like a Hollywood version of, like, what a sport agent is supposed to sound like. When you watch Entourage, Ari, like, that's exactly, like, if you've never watched that, like, Ali reminds me of, like, Ari from Entourage. But look, dude, he does a good job. Like, you know, he handles a lot of good guys. He's got a lot of fucking fighters. I want to say he's got like 50 or 60 something fighters. He's got a lot of good fighters. And he's got handles Henry Cejudo, Khabib, and Usman now. All 3 of them world champions. I mean, he's got a bunch of guys that fought in the PFL that all won the PFL. He handles a lot of good guys. He knows what he's doing. He's doing a good job. You guys can say whatever you want about him and his political stuff and his ties with whoever else you guys want to say he's tied with. I don't know any of that shit. I'm just strictly saying as a person, I've been around him, never had a problem with him. Okay, I've known the guy a long time. All the way back from when Benson fought Frankie Edgar. I went out to help Frankie Edgar train for that fight. The first and second fight both, I believe. And I can tell you that like I've known him since then, and he really wasn't managing anyone. He's just helping out with Frankie and some other guys, but now he's one of the managers to really keep an eye on. What I can tell you is he cares about his fighters. He cares about his fighters, and he looks after them, and he's there for them. And I'm pretty impressed, man. He shows up, trains with them, rolls with them, does some things with them. Like, he spars with them, a little bit, does what he can to like help his guys get better. And he's not too shabby on the ground. Stand up wise, he's got balls, he'll throw, doesn't want to get hurt. He's got a family and stuff. He don't want to get hurt, but his guys will pick on him a little bit. But he's got a good sense of humor, and he takes his lumps when he needs to, and it's good, man. He does a good job. But it's the new era. It's the new era of managers. Tip my hat off to Usman, man. He came out, implemented his game plan, was able to ragdoll Wood around a little bit with the wrestling, able to control the top position. And people want to say like, oh, Woodley didn't look himself. He looked flat. He looked this. He looked that. But if you go back and you watch the fight with Nate Marquardt when they fought in Strikeforce, and Nate was able to fight him and beat him, it was a very similar fight. It was that like Nate Marquardt just pushed the pace, kept in front of him, never really let him get set, never let his confidence get going in the fight, and that's the way he beat him. Like he was able to dictate the pace of the fight from beginning to end. Just nasty. I mean, but he was able to dictate the pace of the fight from the beginning to end. Marquardt took some big shots early, and we knew that. But then as the fight went on, he was able to keep pushing on Woodley, keep pushing. You could see Woodley slow down. And this right here, it seemed very similar to that. If I went back and watched that fight with Marquardt and then I came and watched this fight again, it really came down to the fact that Marquardt was able to weather the storm of what Woodley did, and the same thing Usman. Woodley just didn't get off with Usman, and Usman just pushed the pace, and kept coming forward, and that just changed the tempo on how Woodley would fight. And then once that got set into his frame of mind, it just changed, man. That whole thing changed. It was strange. It was strange how it all kind of came about, but I guess we'll see if he makes any adjustments on his next fight on how he potentially will end up fighting Usman again. Because I think Woodley will get back to the title shot. The only concern is where do you put Ben Askren in there now? Ben fights. Who does Ben fight? Oh man, who does Ben fight?
The winner of Till and Masvidal.
Yeah, but Ben fights the winner. But does he, or will he end up fighting for the title? And if he fights for the title, Woodley and him will not fight. So then if he beats Usman, because I think he'll out-wrestle Usman. If he beats Usman, then what happens? So then you have Woodley who can't fight for that title anymore. Then what happens? Then he has to go to 85 because they've openly said that they will not fight each other. And they've said it a bunch of times. And I mean, I found it hard to believe that would happen. Because they're going to be stuck in this position where who's going to fight who, and if someone has the title and someone fights for the title, we'll cross that bridge, I think, when they get to it. I did the same thing when it was supposed to be Gray Maynard was supposed to fight for the title if he beat TJ Grant. Then Gray lost. Then I was supposed to fight for the title against Pettis. And then everyone's like, well, hey, Khabib's 21-0 or 20-0. You guys could end up fighting each other, and I was out cornering Khabib, for one of his fights, and they kept bringing it up, and I was like, dude, we got so much time between now and then. I mean, look at Khabib just barely got the title last year, and here we are. It was like 5 years later, And so much stuff can happen in between. So I think they'll cross that bridge when it comes down to it. Oh, man.
Do you think Ali wants to do Askren because he's confident that Usman can take it? So he's like, let's get an easy.
I think for Ali, would like to beat him because he doesn't have a loss. Okay. I think that kind of sets the tempo for it. I also think that he doesn't want to give Colby Convington an opportunity to win. doesn't want to give Colby the chance to fight Usman, at least not right now. I think I think it'd be a better fight for him. I think the Colby Covington fight is an easier fight for Usman than the Ben Askren fight. I think Ben has a good chance of out wrestling Usman and out scrambling him. And even though Ben doesn't look like he's physically strong and good, but he's good, man. He's good. So that makes for an interesting fight. Can Usman stop? What's his name's fight? Takedown. Ben Askren's takedown. We'll see. I think Ben's gonna end up coming in, and he's gonna, if he fights the winner of Masvidal, I honestly believe they're gonna have Lawler and Ben run it back. That's my honest opinion. I don't think there's any other way around it. I think they're gonna have him run it back. And Dana seems like he's already got it set in his mind, but that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna run it back, and then that gives T Wood an opportunity to potentially get an automatic rematch. Or, I think they would. The reason why I think that Dana would do the two where they run both those things back is because the dominant performance that Usman had against T Wood, it puts T Wood out of the title contention for a while. If he loses again. And then that helps Dana because Dana doesn't want to have to deal with him anymore. Yeah. Okay, now we'll have Ben fight Robbie, and if Ben beats Robbie, then okay, Ben will fight Usman and leaves Colby Covington on the sideline for a little bit. If Ben doesn't beat Usman, then you get Colby Covington and Usman to fight. Or if Ben doesn't beat Robbie, then you get Colby Covington to fight Usman until Robbie works his way back up for a title shot. Dana White loves Robbie Lawler. So if that fight, like Robbie's will always be maybe one fight away from a title shot. And if Robbie beats Ben Askren, I could see them putting Robbie right back into that title shot against Usman. After Wood and Usman fight again. So I could see them doing it. I could see them doing that. So anyways, let's talk about the main event. I watched it. Half-heartedly I watched it. I'm not a big, everyone should know I'm not a Jon Jones fan. And no, it's not because he bought DC and he beat DC. No, it's not that at all. It's because I think he's a cheater. But that being said, you can't take away his talent. He's very good, very talented, very good all the way around. I'm not gonna crown him as the GOAT only because he's a cheater. But you guys can go ahead and say whatever you want in the comment section, which I'm sure you guys will. You guys are ruthless on YouTube, man. The YouTube people are ruthless. I actually go there just to read the comments. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. You guys are brutal. Not just to me. You guys are brutal to, like, Sammy. You guys are brutal to the fighters. Like, oh, that pussy, he should have fucking done this. He should have. I love the guys that sit on their couch and talk how fighters should have fought or what Dana should do next. I think it's great. It's fun.
So John cheats again.
Yeah, John. I mean, like, look, he got hit again with the picogram thing. Let's not even
just that.
Let's not just talk about what he
cheated with a knee.
Oh, he cheated with the knee. Oh, like, yeah. So the picogram thing, we'll bypass. We'll gloss over that. It happened again. Right from the beginning, Anthony Smith looked like he just was showing him too much respect. It was very much, honestly, like the fight with Jose Aldo and Moicano, how he just seemed like he was showing him too much respect. Like, he was good, Jones is good, but he never really put himself out there to win the fight. Didn't really take any chances. If you're gonna beat someone like Jon Jones, you got to try to beat him, man. And you can't just wait for the opportunity to open up. Jon Jones is not going to open up an opportunity for you to win. He's just not going to do it. Like, that. You need to create the opportunities. And if you wait on him, he's just going to fuck you up. And that's exactly what happened. Anthony Smith just looked outclassed. I like watching him fight, but he showed him too much respect, which made him look like he was outclassed. He just didn't pull the trigger. And if you're going to go out there, this is your opportunity to win a title, man. This is your opportunity. You may never get this chance ever again. And you just let it pass you by. You were okay with just going the distance, and you should never have that mindset of I'm good. I went the distance with Jon Jones. No, man, you got to go out there and get it. if you guys get an opportunity and a chance, like if you guys go back and you guys watch my second fight with Gilbert Melendez, I came back after the fourth round and my corner said, look, if you don't knock him out, there is no way you're winning this fight. You need to go out there and knock him out. And you got to go back and you got to watch the fifth round. There wasn't a moment in that round where I actually punched myself out. I could barely stand. Like those are the type of things you have to remember. The title shot's on the line. That's all you got left. And I'm just using that fight as an example because that's the first thing that came to my mind. And speaking from my own experience, I'm just giving you guys something to kind of like go back and take a look at. And look, that fifth round, the second round goes down in history as like one of the best rounds ever. And then also to the fifth round is just, I knew I was losing the fight and I had to go out there and get it done. In this fight though, Anthony Smith it doesn't look like, he just looks like he's comfortable getting through the fight. That's it. The next thing I want to talk about is the illegal knee. Now, he did an honorable thing. Anthony Smith did an honorable thing. I'm going to tip my hat to him. He did an honorable thing by getting up and continuing to fight. The only thing is, though, and I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this. He should have took the win. It would have been DQ. He would have been the champion. From illegal knee, they would have fought again. He would have made more money to fight Jon Jones again. He would have made more money. Now he's going to fight. And I'm just simply saying from a business point of view, you guys need to understand, from a business point of view, he should have taken the win, the title, and fought again. They would have given Jon Jones an automatic rematch, and they would have fought again. He would have made way more money. From a business point of view, as a person, he did the right thing. Okay? He did the right thing. As a fighter, as a person, he did the right thing. But if you want to talk business, he fucking screwed the pooch. He fucking screwed the pooch. He would have got the automatic rematch. He would have made a lot more money. He would have been the champion during that time. He would have been the champion at that time. Unless I'm missing something, because intentional, clean, hard knee like that, you can't say it's accidental. He was covered up. Like, it'd be one thing like if he shot in and his hand or knee hit the ground and he hit the flying knee and boom, he got knocked out. I think they would have ended up going to the scorecards. And then Jon Jones was obviously winning on the scorecards. Or it would have been a draw because they have to give the 2-point deduction first. And then that happening, that would end up being a 9-9 round. This happened, I think, in the fourth round, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I mean, like, it would have been close. It would have been a close fight. It would end up being a lot closer of a fight, but Jon still would have won. So they would have went to, like, an accidental foul like that, but this was not an accidental foul. They called it. That's why they took 2 points. I believe they took 2 points for this. Yeah, well. So that being said, he would have ended up being the champion. Unless I'm missing something, I'll have to talk to Big John McCarthy on this and get his whole ordeal. Let's see if he can break it down for me a little bit better. But I can tell you right now that he would have made a lot more money the second fight had he just said like, "Hey, I can't continue. I know it's a scumbag thing to do. I'm sitting here telling the guy," like, you would have fought the second fight and you would have made a lot more money, could have moved on to fighting other guys after that second fight. Who knows? Maybe you would have, in your mindset, changed the way you fought. Go back and watch the first fight and be like, look, I should have fought way differently. I'm going to change it this fight and fight and have that fight. Maybe you would have fought a way different fight and had a better showing the second time. But just from a business point of view, you should have taken the illegal knee and just went on for the win. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. You know, as a person, you're a good dude. Anthony Smith, you're a good dude, man. You did a good job. You did, you know. I mean, it just wasn't your night, man. But I think you should have taken the foul. You could have got paid double the second time around. And, you know, and in that weight class, like, you're at the top still. Even like after, you would end up fighting some guys that were in that weight class. Who's in that weight class? They got Gustafsson. Disey's gone. He's not in that weight class anymore. So they got Gustafsson. They've got Thiago Santos, who Santos, I believe, is getting the next shot, is what from what I read, Dana had said. Santos is fighting for the title. Blachowicz and Anthony Smith makes Blachowicz and Anthony Smith, because I was just thinking they just fought, but they wasn't. That was Santos. Blachowicz and Anthony Smith would be a good fight. That'd be great to see. And then who else is there? Corey Anderson and Ozdemir, those guys. I mean, the division's not really that stacked. Jimmy Manawa's tough. Glover Teixeira, he's getting some miles on him, man. He's having a hard time. Ovid St. Preux, just kind of in Mauricio Shogun. He's got some miles on him as well. So when you get to like Corey Anderson, that's kind of where the, Manawa and Latifi, those guys are good. I'm just not sure like if they're ready for that next level of guys like Santos and Gus and, and Ozdemir and those guys. So, but it does make. I think he should have taken the win. Look, this is just my recap. If you guys don't like it, you guys can leave comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. But I just feel like Anthony Smith showed him too much respect. Showed that he was a good dude in the 4th round when he didn't take the illegal knee. Could have been champion, I think, and then moved on. Who knows? But money wise, it would have been a smart decision. I think if it was not for a title, I think he should have done the right. He did the right thing. But for the fact that the title was on the line, could have fought Jon Jones again, had the automatic rematch, and made double the money, maybe even more than double the money. So that's what he should have. It's my personal opinion. But overall, what'd you think, Dave? What'd you think of the overall card? Did it live up to what it was supposed to be?
I thought it was amazing, until Woodley and Usman. I was really disappointed in Woodley.
So there's a lot of flack going around with the ref. Jon Anik came out and said something about how, if you could pull it up on his Twitter, he came out and said something about how like the refs were inconsistent about standing him up. Like Jon Jones was able to press Anthony Smith against the fence without really doing any action, and they never stood him up or never broke him. Then you have I don't
even know how to work Twitter anymore. Where do you see his most recent?
I don't know. Go to his name.
From what I can gauge, seems though it was a healthy weekend.
Yeah. So then Jon Anik comes out and says like they're just the refs are being inconsistent on like how they do it, because Usman kept getting stood up with T Wood like nonstop. So that being said, look, every ref is different. Every ref is human. Like it's gonna be different for every ref. And depending on what the action is going on, I don't think Usman ever deserved, or Woodley and Usman ever deserved to really be stood up. Usman was doing work. But I think in terms of for the fans, when I was watching it, I was actually encouraged by the fact that he kept getting stood up. I actually enjoyed it. You saw that the fight wasn't taking a different turn. You might as well stand the fight up and see if you can create a little bit more action. Sure, the fight was busy on the ground, but it wasn't like nothing was really getting done. Nothing was ever like, hey, to the point where he's trying to pass, trying to get mount, trying to get to the submission position or a finishing position. I think that needs to be set up. Like, hey, if you are not trying to pass guard, or you are not trying to finish, or you are not trying to work to a finishing position, or trying to put them away with like some sort of vicious ground and pound or like some sort of work, like then I think the fight needs to be stood up. And every ref is different. Every ref will call it differently. How whoever was reffing the main event, they decided to let the fight go on with Jon Jones and press him against the fence, doing work against the fence. But the fight's still on the feet. A lot of that stuff, the fight was still on the feet. When they were on the ground, Jon was landing some good knees, some good elbows. But also too, with Anthony, with the main event, it's a lot harder to open up when someone is just kind of curled up or being very, very defensive. T Wood kept trying to do things and wasn't able to do anything. And then Usman wasn't really trying to pass, wasn't really trying to do anything either. He was doing work as far as like body work, head work. He was doing a little bit of combinations on the ground. Physically we looked phenomenal, but at the end of the day, like they weren't. Neither one was really gaining ground, and they were both trying to work, so why not stand them back up? And the fight ended up right back down on the ground again. But why not just stand them up and like let the thing go on the feet? They're both trying to put an effort out. In the main event, Anthony Smith really wasn't putting the effort out on the ground. He was being controlled and dominated to the point where he wasn't even really able to put any offense. He wasn't even able to produce any offense. So I think that's a big reason why, because the fight could have ended at any moment had Jon Jones just decided to like go ahead and like open up a little bit more. So had Jon decided to really try to put him away, I think he could have put him away maybe in the 3rd or 4th round. He just didn't do it. So I don't know what's behind all that, or but that's what happens. I think that pretty much covers it all, man. We covered that whole show. Is there fights this weekend?
Yeah, Derek Lewis versus Dos Santos.
Oh, that's gonna be a good fight. Yeah. I like Derek Lewis, man. Dos Santos just hasn't been the same since he fought Kane the last 2 times. I mean, his little chinny, still fast, explosive, still has a ton of power. Power's the last thing to go. In a 5-round fight, though, Derek Lewis tends to slow down. In that in 3 rounds, he slows down. 5 rounds, I mean, it's going to be a tough fight for him. And Dos Santos has shown that he has the conditioning to go 5. He was the champion, former champion. Like, he can go 5, and he can go 5 hard. So this puts him right back in that title contention, though, if he gets a big win over Derek Lewis. So I actually am excited for this fight. Is this on ESPN?
This upcoming one.
Coffee's cold. Not so good anymore.
I know. Same here. This Saturday, ESPN Plus.
Oh, ESPN Plus?
Yeah. Nothing like.
And how much is that? It's $4.99, right?
Yeah, I think it's $5.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
That's not bad. Can't be that. And they still have the Fight Pass. Fight Pass is $10. Or did everything move to ESPN?
What do you mean? Did everything move to ESPN?
Like, do they still have because ESPN has their own app? Did Fight Pass just shut down, or is this Fight Pass still around?
Fight Pass is still around. There's might be early prelims. There's no early prelims. ESPN Plus. No, they definitely still have Fight Pass because I've been using it lately.
Oh, who else is on that card?
I don't know if you'll even know any of them.
Let me see. Tim Means, Nico Price. That should be a good fight. Ben Rothwell. I haven't seen him fight in a minute, man. And then Blagoy. He trains at AKA, so he's a big guy. He's been getting ready. Tim Bosch. I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Man, there's a lot of, like, Dariush is fun and entertaining. Go back down. Dariush is fun and entertaining to watch. And then Drew Dober, he's exciting as well. Good fight. So, I mean, that should make for a good fight. Dariush is fucking exciting. It's so fun to watch. Like, he had his fight against Edson Barboza. Fuck, what a fight. I know he didn't come out on top. He got clipped with a big flying knee. But fuck, man, that fucking fight was awesome. He fought his ass off in that fight. He's exciting. Does some crazy ass shit. Good looking dude also. I didn't realize that until right now. Good looking guy. Grant Dawson and Julian Arosa. I don't ever heard of them. So I got to do some research on these guys. Start figuring out who they are. And then the girl fight. What's her name? Oh, Marianne Renaud. Versus, what's her name?
Yana Kunitskaya.
Kunitskaya. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to watch that and see. I mean, yeah, that's the fight for this weekend. But, I mean, like, Derek Lewis and Dos Santos should be a good fight. That should be a good fight. I mean, look, the overall conclusion from this week's show is this. You're probably going to see T. Wood get an automatic rematch so that they could potentially get him out of the title shot. Maybe he'll go to 185 after that. If he doesn't get the automatic rematch, I don't know. I think they will give him the automatic rematch because Dana doesn't want him to be champion anymore, so they're going to put Usman there. Usman had a dominant performance. Good chance he beats him again. Then that puts T. Wood out of the title picture for a while. So he would have to fight a couple fights to get his way back. That gives Ben Askren and Robbie Lawler a chance to run it back, which they will, I think. And then The winner of that will potentially, I think if Ben wins, he'll fight for the title. If Ben loses, Robbie Lawler will probably fight either for the title because Dana White loves Robbie Lawler, or Robbie Lawler will fight probably either Darren Till, the winner of Darren Till and Masvidal, because that'll be a good stand-up fight. I think those will be the fights that you put together. That's for the welterweight division. As far as Jon Jones and Anthony Smith, I mean, Santos is going to be next for Jon Jones. Anthony Smith, I'm not sure really what will be next for him. Maybe a little bit of time off, see exactly what happens. Cody Garbrandt just needs to fight smart. If the guy fights smart like he did against Dominic Cruz, the sky's the limit for him, man.
You seen he got headbutted, by the way?
Oh, I mean, possibly. I have experience with that. Yeah, possibly. I didn't see it. But when you're putting your head down and just swinging like that, there's a good chance you do get headbutted. You know, but I can tell you already, Cody, don't try to fight it with the athletic commission. There's no way they're going to overturn it. They're going to tell you to go fuck yourself, and you wasted some time in your life, you know, going and talking to these idiots that have no idea what they're talking about with the sport. It's a waste of your time. Just take the loss, move on, get a win, and move from there. So that's our recap of UFC 235. Here with Punk's Opinion. Hit the subscribe button in YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Spotify. Hit us up. Let us know. Let me know also, too. Hit me up in the comment section, man. I'm going to try and record again this week, probably a couple times. So we're going to probably push out this thing for fan questions for this week. Getting ready for April 27th. Also Bellator, John Fitch versus Roy McDonald. Huge card. Ali Malay versus Vito Ortega. Like, there's Ben Askren versus Adam Piccolotti. You've also got...
Ben Askren?
Not Ben Askren, sorry. Benson Henderson fight Ben Askren. Benson Henderson fighting Adam Piccolotti, and then there's another big fight on there too as well. What's the other fight? There's another big fight on that card as well. So April 27th, big fight for Bellator, and then this weekend Derek Lewis on there as well, fighting Dos Santos. Oh, Diego Herzog is on there as well. Good jiu-jitsu guy.
They only have 2 fights on the main card, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all we got today. So I keep saying Ben Askren. So thanks for joining me for Punk's Opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any comments or questions or anything, I will talk about whatever comments you guys put in the comment section. And please do me a favor, share these videos. We have cuts and splices on YouTube as well. Please share those out on your guys' social media. I'm trying to grow this thing as much as I possibly can and get this thing going. All right, you guys. Hey, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. And leave your comments in the comments section, and I will probably answer some questions. If you guys have questions, hit us up. I'll have Dave put out some question stuff too. We'll do a fan question maybe this week. Answer all you guys' questions, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. You're here with Josh Thomson. Thanks for tuning in.